Myself, I'm Josh Polanski. I'm a film critic here at the Boston Hassle, and I'll be moderating our Q&A today. But before the screening, you suggested a quiz to find out if people are Team Jonas or Team Lenny. I think that sounds fun. So, by a raise of hands, who's Team Lenny?
I don't know, actually.
Team Jonas? It's a trick question. Team Aurora. There we go.
Yeah, that's the right answer. So Aurora won, I believe.
And there's, I'm sure a lot of people noticed the dedication. Unfortunately, tragically, the actor that played Lenny passed away in the summer. And I was wondering if you could say a few words about Jonas as a person.
Jürgen. Yeah.
Jürgen.
It's very hard still. And this is one of the reasons I cannot watch this film anymore, at least for the next 10 years maybe, because Jürgen was one of my best friends, and we always wanted to work together, and that was, we planned to work together for many years, and then made it with Aurora, and then we had some other plans, but life came first, or life ended first. And it's still very, very difficult for me to talk about it, but what can I say? I mean, he and Lenny were very close, so he based the character on his own life experiences a lot, and while we were rehearsing, he was constantly telling his wife that, oh my God, this is too close. And but while we were shooting the film, we were very happy. Actually, Jürgen is the only guy I have kissed in my life, because he and that happened during the shoot at the after party. So we both don't remember that, but we have photos. And when we saw the photos the day after, it was we laughed a lot. He was extremely emotional person, and we had spent such a great time together. 90% of it, the time we spent together, consists of laughter. So, and actually, many people are saying that this film Aurora is somehow very tragic and very, very extremely somehow moving. I don't have anything against that. Each of her own or his own, but me, Andres, and Jürgen, we always, while we were rehearsing or while we were talking about this film, we were having a lot of fun. And the first cut actually had a lot of jokes in it and a lot of comedic elements in it. And at one point we decided to balance it out more. And then we showed the first cut, which me and my friend Andres edit. We did the first edit, and it was like around 3 hours. And then we showed it to some professional editors. We don't consider ourselves editors, but we've been editing a lot. And most of the professional editors asked us to cut out all the jokes, all the light elements from the film. And one version was like that. And then we discovered that it lacks our own self, actually. It became someone else's film. So then we started to add the more playful elements back. Of course, this humor or these playful elements are not for everyone, but yeah. Well, that was a long answer. I don't know. I just started yapping.
Thank you. Thank you for your vulnerability. You bring up editing, and the editing in the final version is non-chronological. You're bouncing around timelines, and I'm wondering, was that always the plan?
That was always the plan. Yeah. We wanted to experiment with different timelines, and I think it's not. Well, people nowadays are used to weird timelines being edited together. And, it's nothing too experimental, but somehow we always wanted to do a film which is happens during one evening or one day, and the presence is basically happening. Well, it's a weekend, but yeah. And then we started adding all those elements from the past. We're starting to trip, so to say, investigate where to go with it.
I'm wondering if you can talk a little bit about the acting. I know that you used an improv style of acting, and I'm wondering if you could say a little bit about what that process was like.
Yeah, well, this film has a quite long backstory. It started when we were taking part of a workshop which was given by Australian professor Robert Marchand, who is who's teaching this method, character-based improvisation method. It's not his own creation overall, but for example, Mike Leigh, the British filmmaker, uses a lot of elements from this kind of method. It's a long subject, but to put it shortly, I would say it's a method where actors are taking care of the characters and directors are taking care of the drama. So we, of course, we wrote the script with Andres, and we wrote the story. But after visiting this workshop and after studying this method, we decided to try it out. And so we didn't give out the script to the actors at first, and we started the rehearsals. So at first, we started off with solo improvisations. There were many actors. Most of the actors are our friends, and we wanted to work with them. So we started creating those characters with them. At first, one by one, did the solo impros, wrote the backstories, and step by step, we were putting those characters together, and we knew what the story was about and where we would like to go with the story, but they didn't. So we were manipulating somehow. This method contains a lot of manipulation. So for example, I mean, I'm not talking about the shooting period, I'm talking about the rehearsal period. Let's make that clear. After the rehearsals, we rewrote the script again, and we rewrote the script, and then before the shootings, of course, everyone knew what was going to happen. But the rehearsal period was taking like maybe altogether maybe half a year, but on a very long time period. Not every day, of course, but we did a lot of sessions. And during these rehearsals, we also tried out, for example, the backstories. Maria, the girl who plays Aurora, we started off with the improvisation sessions where she's like a teenager, and no, not a teenager, but a kid. At first we used the kid actors, and we did an improvisation before her mother's suicide, and that was pretty heavy because the guy who plays father in Talma, he didn't know anything about that. We had actress who was playing his wife. It's not in the film, of course, but yeah, we did many days improvisations, and finally we directed the suicide of the wife of Aurora's mom, and then once you're in a character, this method also contains a lot of boredom, as life also contains a lot of boredom. So you wait in a line, you have to go through customs, you wait for a coffee, it's boring. But these characters must also just spend their boring moments, and the actors never knew what might happen during those boring moments. Some days went by, nothing happened, and some days went by, your wife committed suicide. So that's the I don't know if I can say beauty of the method, or it's that's how the method works. That's how you can get some very believable documentary-like performances out of the actors.
Thank you. And I don't think Aurora is ever boring. I think we're ready to turn it over to the audience for some questions. Just raise your hand and we'll bring a mic to you, and try to be kind of straight to the question. That way we can get to as many as we can.
What's the significance of the sword?
Did everybody hear that?
Why the sword?
Mis asjad?
Why?
Why is the sword in the film? What is the symbolism?
The wires, I mean, the electrical wires, or
The sword.
the sword. The sword. Sorry, my hearing. I'm not a big fan of actually explaining all those symbols to the audience and the meanings and the ideas. I mean, it somehow takes away the spontaneity and the authenticity of the experience. But yeah, I would like to hear maybe your version more. Why were there swords?
Well, it seemed like everybody was in white, and the sword, with the sword, I thought she was going to stab the father. That's what it seemed like.
Well, while I have the mic, can I ask a question? Can you speak about your decision to bring this like heavy Christian setting to this, and what is the relationship of that to modern day Estonia? Is this a site that is more common than not, or is it because yeah.
It's surprisingly common. Yeah. So when we started off, we had this idea to use this religious group. And when we started talking about this religious group, these different religious groups with the actors and our acquaintances, it came out that a lot of people have been, one way or another, touched by some of groups like these. And then when the actual rehearsal process started, Maria Johanna joined one of these religious groups and became friends with them, and spent almost half a year every Sunday with them, and was praying with them, was eating with them, was spending, like, having nice time actually with them. So to have really this authentic experience of what Aurora's experiences might be. And we also went to, as a group, 4 or 5 main actors and directors, and even the DOP. We went to spend time with the Presbyterians, and spent some weekends there with them, and they were very friendly and they were very open, and when they saw the film, they were pretty happy about it. They understood the dilemmas, and they are not aliens, so they knew about life too. So yeah. And some prayers, for example, the breaking of the bread is actually almost one-to-one written from real life. Some people have said that we are trying to ridiculate religious people, which wasn't our intention at all. Of course, there are humorous elements, but where aren't? There are humorous elements in liberal theater, experimental theater group where Lenny is from. Yeah.
Why does Aurora eat the dirt at the end of the movie?
What's the?
Why does Aurora eat the dirt?
Eat smart.
Yeah.
Well, the scene in a hospital was actually taking place in a psychiatric hospital, and we met the main doctor there, the head of the hospital, the psychiatric hospital, one of the most well-known Estonian psychiatrists, and I asked him that we have this idea that on critical situations, the protagonist eats smart. What do you think about that? And his answer was like very simple and straightforward. Oh no, she eats smart? No, normal people do that. That's totally normal. In a critical situations, people do weird things, and but it has a symbolic value. It has a lot of connotations, but I'm not here to explain it actually.
There's a lot of different kind of sayings that go on in the movie about love and romance, but specifically, I really like that little poem about the jellyfish in the Retna. And I was wondering if that's something you wrote, or it was found, or where that came in the writing process. I thought that was a very interesting keeps coming out throughout the film.
Aurora's poem, you mean?
Yes, yes.
That we stole. but we stole from Estonian writer. And then we told him that we stole your poem. We stole your poem, and he actually didn't remember. He was like, "Did I write it? Yeah, we stole from your book." Ah, okay. But he loved the film, so he was even writing on his Facebook wall how much he enjoyed it.
So it wasn't stolen, it was borrowed.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Unfortunately, that's all we have time for. Thank you, Ryan, and one more round of applause for Aurora.
Thank you.